At least 1,300 people died during the Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca, with authorities stating that most lacked official permits and walked under direct sunlight without shelter.
메카의 이슬람 하지 정기 성지순례 사망자가 1,300명을 넘긴 가운데 당국은 이 중 대부분이 순례 허가를 받지 않았으며 땡볕 아래서 쉬어갈 곳 없이 걸었다고 밝혔습니다. Alright, so we had the story last week where we started off with 17 deaths, then it moved up to 50 deaths, and then 100, and now 1,300.
Yeah, this is from the 1.8 million people who took part this year. The big issue is that you need a permit, officially speaking, and that's given to countries on a quota system, and then you enter a lottery to see if you can win a permit. The problem is it's expensive, and it's difficult to get, and so there are people who try to do the Hajj, to do this pilgrimage, without a permit. And they're saying that more than 3/4 of those who died did not have permits to be there. They were walking under direct sunlight without adequate shelter. And some of them were elderly or were chronically ill. It's often the case as you get older, it's one of those things you have to do before you pass on to the great beyond. However, Saudi Arabia has been criticized about not doing more to make this event safer, especially for those who were unregistered. There needs to be air-conditioned tents. There need to be official Hajj transport. Temperatures in Mecca, the high was 51.8 degrees.
Oh my goodness.
It's extremely, extremely hot. And this is terrible that these pilgrims who just wanted to do this religious journey have, ended up passing away.
네. 여기서 말하는 이 Hajj는 Hajj입니다. 우리나라에서 말하는 24절기 하지가 아니고요. 물론 한글로는 그냥 하지라고 쓰지만 이슬람 종교에서 일생에 한 번쯤은 반드시 성지순례로 메카에 가야 하는 그걸 말합니다. 그걸 Hajj, H-A-J-J라고 표현하는데 이게 바로 pilgrimage이죠. What's a pilgrimage?
Yeah, a pilgrimage is a religious term, but it can be used by any religion. All it means is it's a journey taken for religious purposes, and it's often quite a way away. It's not going to take you 5 minutes to get there. It's going to take you days or even weeks. So, for example, if you're a fan of English literature, the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer is all about the pilgrimage that Christians were taking across the country. And in this case, we have millions of Muslims who take this pilgrimage to visit Mecca on the Hajj.
And a person would be a pilgrim.
Exactly.
The thing is the pilgrimage.
Yes.
네. 성지순례는 pilgrimage, P-I-L-G-R-I-M-A-G-E고요. 순례자는 pilgrim입니다. What's a permit?
Well, first, will you permit me to talk about the pronunciation of permit?
I will give you permission to talk about permit.
If we use it as a verb, it's permit. If we use it as a noun, like in this case, it's a permit. And a permit is the permission to do something or to be somewhere or to maybe park your car in a certain area. It's that document that says you can do this or you can be here.
Exactly. 자, 이게 명사일 때는 허가증, 면허 이런 뜻이 되겠고요. 그다음 동사일 때는 그런 허가를 주다가 되겠죠. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. At least 1,300 people died during the Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca, with authorities stating that most lacked official permits and walked under direct sunlight without shelter. Let's move on to the next headline.
A woman who left school during World War II 83 years ago has finally received her master's degree in education from Stanford University at the age of 105.
제2차 세계대전 중에 대학을 떠나야 했던 한 여성이 83년 만에 105세의 나이로 스탠퍼드 대학교에서 마침내 교육학 석사학위를 받았습니다. Wow. Bravo or brava to her.
Yes.
For doing that.
Yes, brava to Virginia Hislop, or Ginger, as she's known to her friends. She got her bachelor's from Stanford University School of Education in 1940. She went on to do her master's there at the Stanford Graduate School of Education, but because there was a draft, her boyfriend got called up to serve in World War II. And so they got married and she left just before she would have turned in her final thesis. She did work in education. She didn't stop, wanting to contribute to the teaching system.
Right.
But she never got this master's degree. And now, returning 83 years later.
Yeah.
She's got it. She's got her master's at the age of 105.
네. 청취자 정경화님이 나이 출생신고 잘못된 거 아니죠? 105세라니 라고 했는데요. 네, 맞습니다. 1940년 당시에 스탠퍼드 대학교 교육대를 다니고 있었고요. 전쟁으로 인해서 학업을 중단해야만 했는데 83년 만에 현재 105세의 나이에 석사학위를 취득했다고 합니다. 와, 정말 대단하십니다. Alright, so the first expression is to leave school.
Yeah, which means you stop going to school. And if you're American, this can mean university. If you're British, it's probably going to mean, well, secondary school, high school. Because in the UK, we'd say leave university or leave college rather than leave school. Whereas in the US, school is often used interchangeably with college or university.
Okay. 물론 학교 건물 밖에 나오는 것도 leaving school이 될 수 있겠지만 그게 아니라 학교를 자퇴할 때 또 이렇게 표현을 합니다. Leave school.
Yeah, so for example, if you're at university, your friends might ask you, what are you going to do when you leave school? Meaning, what are you going to do after you graduate?
아, 그러네요. 졸업의 의미로도 볼 수 있습니다. What are you going to do after you leave school? So that's just another way of saying, what will you do after graduation? Yesterday, we learnt the term skip school, which means you're skipping classes. And that's,
Has Shane been skipping classes
you
again?
shouldn't do that.
Do I need to have words with Shane's parents about his attendance?
We had to talk about skip, so that was the term. But yeah, leaving school, skipping school, different, but all to do with school. The next term also has something to do with schools, and it's a degree in something.
Yeah, if you have a degree in something, that something is going to be what you were studying. Now, again, there's going to be a difference depending on the country you live in.
Yes.
I often get asked, what was your major at school?
Yeah, it's American.
And no, it can be in some universities. My father, for example, at his university, back in the 60s, there were majors as well.
Okay.
So it depends. But generally in the States, you have a major, you can have a minor as well. You can do a double major, meaning you're studying other things, but you have one main subject and you have a degree in maths or science or whatever it is. When I went to university, I only had one subject. That was it. So I had a degree in acting.
Yeah, but you didn't say you majored in acting? You just said...
No, because there were no minors. There were no other subjects.
Okay, interesting.
So I studied acting.
Now, I know in Oxford and Cambridge, they normally say, I read something.
Yeah.
So I read English, meaning I majored in English.
Well, no, meaning that was the subject I took. They don't take other subjects. They only...
But that was the main...
No, but it's not major, because major suggests that there are other subjects, Sue.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the tricky thing. And that's why I refuse to say I majored in acting, because I didn't. I studied
Was that
acting.
the only thing the school taught?
That's the only thing I was taught.
That's the thing. In Korea, though, when we think of 전공하다, it means there are many different subjects at the school, but I picked one.
Yes,
and I
but
did
in
one.
English, when we use the term major, it means I studied English, maths, science, history, but this was my main subject.
알겠습니다.
We can agree to disagree,
Yes.
Sue. I did not major in acting.
알겠습니다.
I have a degree in acting.
자, 전공하다라고 할 때 북미권에서는 I majored in 뭐뭐뭐라고 하죠. 그 다음에 이 표현 나는 무엇에 이런 학위가 있다라고 할 땐 I have a degree in 뭐뭐뭐. 이제 어떤 학위인지 말하고 싶으면 학사학위면은 I have a bachelor's degree in 뭐뭐. 석사 I have a master's degree in 그리고 이제 박사학위면은 I have a doctorate degree in 뭐뭐뭐 이렇게 표현을 하면 되는데요. 지금 아까 조금 이견을 보였던 것이 뭐냐면은 이 메이저하다, 전공하다라는 이 표현. 영국의 일부 대학에서는 I read something. 나는 뭐 영어를 전공했다. 그럴 때 I read English. 읽었다는 뜻이 아니고요. 그렇게 표현도 합니다. 이건 참고로 알아주시면 되겠고. 그러나 이제 폴 선생님은 이런 표현을 쓰지 않고
Yeah, because it's wrong. Because I will fight on this hill.
알겠습니다. 그래서 나는 I studied 이라고 하시나요?
Yes, exactly.
I studied acting.
And
이렇게.
also, you don't need a degree when you say something in. You can say a bachelor's in, a master's in, a PhD in, a doctorate in.
Yeah.
You can put degree as well, but you don't have to.
Right. Okay, got it. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A woman who left school during World War II 83 years ago has finally received her master's degree in education from Stanford University at the age of 105. Now let's move on to our final headline.
A court in Seattle has ruled that the city and an apartment owner must pay a woman around $13 million in damages after she sustained injuries from a fall on a water and algae-covered section of a sidewalk.
미국 시애틀 법원이 물과 해조류로 뒤덮인 보도에서 넘어져 부상당한 여성에게 해당 구역 관리 책임이 있는 시와 아파트 소유주가 약 1,300만 달러, 우리 돈으로 182억 원의 손해배상금을 지급하라는 판결을 내렸습니다. 한마디로 관리를 잘 안 해가지고 어디서 인도가 끝나고 차도로 이어지는지 그게 이제 보이지 않을 정도로 이 물과 해조류로 보도가 뒤덮여 있었다는 거죠. 그 관리를 안 해서 여자가 넘어져서 부상을 당했으니 시와 그다음에 아파트 이제 소유주가 해당 지역의 아파트 소유주가 돈을 내라, 배상해라 이런 거였습니다. Tell us more.
Well, this was a well-known section of this sidewalk in the neighborhood, where it's been shaded by overgrown vegetation, and then on this sloped surface, there's been a water runoff that has led to this layer of moss and algae or algae. Both pronunciations are okay. And poor 53-year-old Leslie Mettler-Old, who was an athlete, a veteran marathon runner and fitness coach, fell. And she snapped both her quadricep muscles.
It wasn't a small fall.
No, this was huge.
Oh.
She's had 5 surgeries. She may need more. She has to go up the stairs on her hands and knees. It's that bad. This is 34 months after her fall. She's still not able to run. She's accepted that she's never going to be an athlete ever again. This is it. Her running career is over. And so, yes, she took them to court. And the jury deliberated for 3 days. And the verdict was the city was liable for 48% and the apartment building's owner was liable for 52%.
굉장히 심각한 부상을 당했네요. 이렇게 인도에서 이제 딱 차도로 그 나뉘는 요 부분이 진짜 보이지 않아가지고 해조류로 덮여 있어서 그래서 이제 넘어졌는데 거의 3년이 지난 건가요? 지금 한 30몇 개월 됐다 그랬죠. 부상당한 지 넘어진 지. 그리고 그 사이에 수술을 5차례나 받았음에도 불구하고 원래는 굉장히 건강한 그 피트니스 코치였네요. 운동도 많이 했었고 마라톤도 뛰고 그랬었는데 이제 절대로 그런 운동은 할 수 없을 정도로 굉장히 큰 부상을 당했다고 합니다. 그에 대한 배상을 시에서 그리고 또 아파트 소유주가 배상해라 이런 판결이 나온 겁니다. 자, 우리 그러면 이런 배상금 뭐라 그럴까요?
Damages. Yeah. And so this is the money paid to you in a legal case or if it's settled out of court for being affected badly, usually injured, either physically or financially or emotionally. You get damages, meaning you get this amount of money to basically help you feel better, help your life get better, and to punish the person or the company involved.
Yes. 자, 그래서 in damages라는 표현이 나오면은요, 배상금으로라는 뜻입니다. $13 million in damages. 배상금으로 1,300만 달러를 지급해라. 이런 ruling, 이런 판결이 나온 거고요. The person in question sustained injuries.
Yes, so if you sustain an injury, it means you get an injury.
Yeah.
Sustain can mean to keep going, but in this case, it doesn't mean that. We use it sustain an injury or to sustain injuries, meaning you are injured.
Exactly. 부상을 입었을 때 sustain injuries라고 합니다. Get hurt, get injured 이거랑 같은 의미인데요. Sustained injuries 이렇게 표현을 합니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. A court in Seattle has ruled that the city and an apartment owner must pay a woman around $13 million in damages after she sustained injuries from a fall on a water and algae-covered section of a sidewalk. That's it for our headlines with Paul Matthews.